We'll also take a look into the eye of the Golden Hurricane. Inside the Nest is live, and it starts right now. And you can see on those sidelines, there was a lot more energy in the link for a Temple game than we've seen in a long time. But the best atmosphere may have come before the game started, specifically in Lot K. Inside the Nest reporter Sam Massett is live at the Owl statue on campus with some tailgate talk. Hey, Sam.
Even with the women's basketball season ending just about a week ago, head coach Diane Richardson has already turned her sights on next season.
Emily, these Mustangs have a strong 1-2 punch the Temple's going to have to watch out for.
As you guys mentioned, Aaron McKee is out of the job. Now, Meg talked about his overall record, but I want to narrow that down to the most important games. In 4 years, Aaron McKee's teams went 0-3 in the AAC tournament, the games that mean the most.
What you got for us this time, Luke?
Yeah, I missed you guys too. Yeah, the Owls welcome in Houston into the Liacouras Center this weekend with 2 goals in mind. Break the 3-game losing streak and get revenge on a Houston team that beat them down in Texas earlier this month. As an assistant coach, Miles Jackson's on the sideline during games, but at practice, he gets back to his practice player roots, often donning one of these jerseys. Now, Adam, this week you guys outscored USF by 24 in the second half. It's the second straight week you guys have won the second half. How much of a focus has it been for you guys playing complete games? It had been 399 days since the Owls last won a conference game, heading into the matchup with USF. In the first quarter, that streak looked like it could continue. Travis Marsh finds Xavier Weaver for a 10-yard touchdown to put the Bulls ahead 7-0. Meanwhile, Camden Price put the foot in football for the Owls, kicking 3 first-half field goals to give Temple the 9-7 lead. But here's the man of the afternoon. Edward Sadie takes this one 33 yards and gets the Owls into the red zone, where they finally get into the end zone. Darvon Hubbard caps off the drive with a 4-yard touchdown, his first score since week 2 against Lafayette. But the Bulls respond quickly. 2021 All-American kick returner Brian Battie takes this kickoff 48 yards to the Temple side of the field. A shoestring tackle keeps him from finding the end zone, but it only delayed the inevitable. 4 plays later, Marsh finds Weaver for his second touchdown, making it 16-14 Temple heading to the half. Before the spring season officially began for the Temple crew team, one faculty member wanted to make a big wave. Dr. Scott Gratson, the director of undergraduate studies in the School of Media and Communication, donated a new boat for the 2023 season. His love for the sport and its athletes made it an easy decision.
And now I'm absolutely completely hooked on crew.
This wasn't always the relationship Gratson had with the sport. But when he accepted an invite to attend a practice nearly 10 years ago, his interest became a passion.
The second, however, that I got on the river with them, it was like utter magic.
Dr. Gratz, I think, was the first guy in 13 years that took us up on that offer.
The sport itself isn't the only appeal. Gratson says the athletes, specifically his students, make his passion more rewarding. Junior coxswain Hunter Metnick, who's also Gratson's student, says the respect goes both ways.
He's been an awesome resource for me. I've gone to him whenever I had any issues, not even revolving around school or sports. We've developed a really good connection.
And Hunter is always telling me things about definitions in crew and how people work together. I'm learning a great deal from just talking with him as a coxswain.
Dr. Gratson values these relationships like family. Gratson's parents passed away last year, and he wanted to honor them by doing something that would highlight one of his biggest joys.
I wanted to do something that reminded me of the dedication that I had to crew, but also reminded me of some of the time that we had spent together.
It's been nearly 2 years since Hurricane Ida came into the Temple Boathouse and rose water 4 feet high. But with contributions like Dr. Gratson's, it allows the team to do things they haven't done in years.
You never want the equipment to be a deciding factor in a race. If you watch the Olympics, they only row these boats. Nobody in collegiate rowing and international rowing has a better boat than we do.
The boat is nicknamed the Professor and will be in the water for its first competition at the Murphy Cup Regatta on April 8th.
I cannot express how thrilled I am and how proud I am of that team. Every night I reflect back on crew.
Of the 9 total coaches on the Temple men's and women's basketball teams, 8 played college ball. It's the traditional path into coaching at the collegiate level. But for women's basketball assistant coach Miles Jackson, his start came as a student at Towson University, as a scout team player under then head coach Diane Richardson. His intentions were never really to become a coach.
I did it to come to basketball games. I was a little invested in the basketball, go to the practices, enjoy the gear, the shoes, the clothes.
The role of a scout team player is simple. Show up, practice against the scholarship players, and help the team get better. But Jackson made a greater impact than the average practice player.
We would give him some things to do with the scout, like get the personnel, and he listened, and he was like a sponge.
Under Richardson, Jackson was promoted several times, from practice player to manager to director of basketball operations, and then to assistant coach. This type of growth is not common at the collegiate level, and the uniqueness isn't lost on Richardson.
This is the first time we've ever had a scout guy to move all the way up to assistant coach.
And Jackson knew his time with Coach Richardson wasn't finished when she was offered the head coaching job at Temple.
She asked us, what y'all want to do? we didn't even hesitate. Pack us up in your suitcase, we're going up to Philly.
As an assistant coach, Miles Jackson's on the sideline during games, but at practice, he gets back to his practice player roots, often donning one of these jerseys.
I feel like it's a different way to teach things. While I'm in the practice, I can tell them, hey, you should be move over, or hey, cut.
And just because he's teaching doesn't mean he's not trying to win.
I count my stats, like to get in their head a little bit, but again, it's all for the fun of the game. It makes them better.
As Chase Bruno will lead things off here in the 8th for Edenton. 2, 3, and 4 in the Steamers' order due up in the 8th inning. Chase Bruno hitting second, so he'll lead things off. Bruno 2 for 4 at the plate tonight. First pitch from Patterson misses for a ball, 1-0. Bruno with 2 of the Steamers' 11 hits in this game. He'll swing and chop that one over to third. Moving in his lane, and it went under his glove. Bruno thinks about taking second. He'll stop at first. So Bruno's aboard to lead off the 8th inning for Edenton. That one went right under the glove of Bryce Lane over at third. Not a good number for the Sea Dogs. That's error number 7 for Virginia Beach. They've now had 2 from Lane over at third, 2 from Henderson at short, and 2 from Ford at second. It's the first pitch to Nate Paulson's down low for a ball, 1-0. So the Steamers have tallied 11 hits, but not a lot of help from the infield of the Sea Dogs. 1-0 pitch down low, 2-0 now the count to Nate Paulson. Patterson, the 4th different pitcher that Paulson has faced tonight. He had a sac fly against Robert Hatcher, had a double against William Wine, struck out against Jordan Irizarry, and now it's his first time up against C.J. Patterson. So that one's across for a called strike, 2-1. So there's no one warming up in the Sea Dogs bullpen, hoping that Patterson can carry them the rest of the way. With the rest of the way looking like it'll be this 8th inning. The Steamers with a 5-run lead. That one's grounded through the hole on the left side for a base hit. It's the 2nd hit of the night for Nate Paulson, and the Steamers have 2 aboard and nobody out here in the 8th. Trying to add some insurance runs here and build on a 5-run lead. The Steamers were down 4-0 in this game. They've scored 9 unanswered, including a 5-run 7th inning. That included back-to-back home runs from Houston Wright and Tyler West. As Kermode lifts that one high in the air out to center field. Moving back his keels towards the wall. It is gone! A 3-run home run for Case Kermode.
It's his first home run of the season, and the Steamers extend the lead. It's now 12-4 Edenton. 3 different Steamers with their first home runs of the season tonight. All of a sudden, 12 in a row for the Steamers. They lead 12-4 as Jackson Hipp comes up to the plate. Home runs have been a big topic of the day here in Edenton, with the Steamers knowing that the home run derby's coming up in a couple of days. So they had a mini derby to get into the derby. They had that this morning or this afternoon before BP, as Jackson Hipp takes outside. Tanner Thatch was already locked in. It was decided, as each team will send 2 guys to the home run derby on Friday. So Tanner Thatch, who leads the team with 6, not here today because he's at school, as Jackson Hipp is drilled in the back. He'll reach for the 4th time tonight. But with Thatch not here to defend his title, it was decided amongst the team that he's locked in one of the 2 spots. So now there were other guys dueling out for that 2nd spot. It was Houston Wright, Chris Morris, Nate Paulson, Tyler West, Tate Abbott, Jeremiah Boyd, Jackson Hipp, and Cole Bates. Yes, a couple of pitchers in there, and Chris Morris and Cole Bates. So for the guys that hit home runs tonight, Houston Wright had 3 home runs, as Abbott will pop that one up in the infield. It'll be handled at third for out number 1 by Bryce Lane. So the guys all got 10 outs to see as many home runs as they could hit. The older style of the home run derby used in the pros. And Wright had 3 home runs. West had 1 home run. Kermo didn't even participate, and he's got a home run tonight. So it was a pretty dramatic one, as the 2 leaders after those 10 outs for every guy were Chris Morris and Jeremiah Boyd, who had 4 apiece, as Jared Beebe sends that one out into center field. That'll be caught by Keels for out number 2. So Boyd and Morris had 4 apiece, so they had to go to a swing-off. So they added another round that was now 5 outs apiece. Chris Morris went first and got 1 home run within those 5 outs. And Jeremiah Boyd drilled 2 out of the ballpark, and he still had 3 outs to go. So Jeremiah Boyd clinched his spot in the home run derby with Tanner Thatch. And the man that had 3 home runs in that mini derby, he has a home run tonight. Houston Wright back up to the plate. Wright sends that one high out towards center. Keels moving back towards the wall. This one, he'll make the catch on the track for the final out. The Steamers add 3 more in the inning. A 3-run home run from Case Kermode puts the Clams ahead by 8. We'll head to the 9th here in Edenton. Steamers up 12-4.